Hey guys, it's Blake with Dominion Strength Training. This is going to be kind of part 3 in what's become a 3-part series in talking about leather weightlifting belts, quality, what to look for if you're going to buy a belt. Those first 2 videos, if you're interested, go back and watch them. The first one was about types of leather, what to look for there, and the second one was on belt hardware. And this video, I'm going to talk about some additional design elements of a belt that are very important, but if you haven't spent a lot of time looking at a lot of different belts, they'd be very easy to overlook. So we'll just jump right into it. The first thing is actually kind of obvious, and that's the size adjustability of the belt. So our belts have 11 holes spaced 1 inch apart. That gives you 10 inches of adjustability. That's a pretty standard amount of adjustability for good quality belts. There are plenty of belts that have less than that. I don't know of a good reason why you'd want less. So look for 10 inches of adjustability. I think all the other details are going to be down at the other end of the belt. The first one is the size of this belt loop here and the placement. So it's got to be placed far enough back from the buckle, and it's also got to be tall enough so that when you go to feed the nose of the belt through the loop, you can actually do it. So this is also something that we had to do a fair amount of testing on to make sure that this was going to be easy to do without being, too large and being in the way. And I think this is a good compromise, what we came up with. Now compare that to this. You look at the size of this loop. I don't even know if there's enough room to feed the nose of the belt through there, given how small that is. I've got another one here that's similar, and this belt isn't cut apart, so we could actually look at what this would look like if we tried to buckle this belt and then feed the nose through the loop. Good luck. So the loop size and positioning is obviously a very important detail. Another thing that happens around this area of the belt, where the belt loops back around on itself and the belt loop goes through, is you have this bulge area up under here. All right. Now this is the side of the belt that's going to be pressing against you, so you want this bulge right here to be minimized as much as possible. And you can see on our belt here that actually this top side is much more of the bulge has been pushed to the top than on the bottom. And that's very intentional. When we cut this leather in the flat pattern, there are things we do with the hole spacing for the rivets that causes this bulge to be pushed to the top side. And you can look at, again, side by side with this other belt. Now this one, this looks to me like just somebody's not taking care of looking at details, because every bit of the bulge you can see is on the bottom side. None of it is on the top, and every bit of this is going to be digging into your stomach. So this is just a little bit of lack of attention to detail, in my opinion. So another small thing that you can look for too is these corners here. They left them sharp. They really ought to be rounded. So you want to get rounded corners. All right, so loop, bulge, corners. The last thing that I would look for is what the manufacturer does before the first rivet in terms of cutting down this leather. Now, you can see on our belt that this portion here looks a little bit thinner than this, and it is. What we've done, this has a layer of suede on the top and the bottom sides, and just in the area where we're going through this loop area, we take that inner layer off. So it is a little bit thinner, but we haven't lost any strength. Now, the worst example that I've seen of what someone has done is this belt here. Now, this is the same thickness as the other belt, 10 millimeters thick, but look what they've done here prior to this first rivet. They've actually taken the leather and cut it down to half of the thickness of the belt. And of course, you've heard the term that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, they've created a significant weak link for this belt. This is a 10 millimeter belt, but it's only going to be as strong as 5 millimeters because they've cut the leather down before they even go into the rivet area. Now, it is permissible to trim the leather down some if you need to minimize thickness in this area, but it can't be significant, and it certainly never needs to happen before this first rivet because you've created what is essentially a weak link in your chain. So those, I think, are the high points of details that are very important but would be easy to miss if you didn't know what to look for. One other thing I forgot to mention about the sizing, I made a YouTube video recently about our belts, specifically the sizing for the small, medium, and large. I talked about the overlap and also how to measure yourself to figure out what size belt you need to buy. So I won't go back through all that since I've already got that other video. I'll just link to it. You can check that out if you like. And I think that's about it. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.